Welcome back, friends. This is lesson number 4 of our algebra series. Today we're going to be talking about reading and writing equations, which is different from algebraic expressions that we've been working about. So I want to start off with actually establishing what an equation actually is. So in the past, we've been writing algebraic expressions based on statements that have actually been given to us. Now we're going to get into an equation. Now, if you take a look at what an equation is, an equation actually occurs when you have an actual equal sign. So if you go to this example, 3x plus 2, that's just an expression. As soon as I put an equal sign here, this is what makes an algebraic expression into an equation, and that's what we're working with today. So we're taking different scenarios and we're creating no longer algebraic expressions, but we're creating equations. So this is really similar to a previous lesson that we've been doing. Here's an example that we're going to be going through. So we have here, Zena bought 3 CDs. All 3Ds had the same price. The total cost was $36. What is the cost of one CD? So I'm going to ask you, if you can think about it as I'm going through this right now, what would be the algebraic expression that I'd actually write? And let me give you an example to help you out with this. So here's the equation that you would actually use. So in this case, P is going to represent the cost of one CD. We're not actually solving for P right now. We're just creating the equation that would help us do this. So in this case, if I'm going to establish what is the cost, I'm going to take 3 times P equals 36, keeping in mind that P is going to represent the cost of one CD, which we don't really know. So what we would do, we would take our information and we bring it down into the answer. So Zena bought 3 CDs. That's where we have the 3 down here. And then P represents the cost of one CD. Again, we don't really know that one. That's why we have the variable. But we do know the total cost was $36. And this is the part that's new. We put the equal 36. So if I was actually going to solve this, that's the equation that I would use. 3P equals 36. Let's go on and do another example. So here's an example. I want you to pause it and then think of what would be that equation that I would actually use to go along with this question. So Mark thinks of a number. He multiplies the number by 2, then adds 15. But the answer is 35. What is that equation going to be? So go ahead, try to figure out what would it be, and then resume the video. Okay, here is the answer for you. So in this case, our equation is going to be 2n plus 15 equals 35. And if you take, let's break this down and figure out where did the equation come from. So we have a number, and then that number is going to be represented by the variable n. So we have the first part, 2n. He multiplies the number by 2. So as soon as you see that, you're going to have the variable and the number, which is 2n. And here's the second part here. He's going to add 15. So now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to have my 2n. I'm going to add 15. So now I have my algebraic expression. Now I'm going to turn it into equation because I have this part here. The answer is 35. If I come down to the bottom, I have to put equals 35. And now I have my equation. 2n plus 15 equals 35. Now I want to make it very clear that we're not solving for n right now. That will be in another lesson that we're going to be doing later. For now, all we're doing is just writing the equation down. Let's go ahead. I've got 4 more examples, and then that will be it for this lesson. So again, this one is going to be done the same way. I'm going to go through each of these examples. I'm going to ask you to pause the video, see if you can mentally create that equation, and then you can even jot it down and then resume the video. So let's deal with the first one. 3 more than a number is 15. So go ahead. How would you write that equation down? Okay, here's the answer. So 3 more than a number is 15. So x is going to represent what that number is. My variable is going to be x, and my answer is going to be x plus 3 equals 15. So 3 more than a number equals 15. And I'll just circle my answer down here. That way you can see a little bit better. Let's go on to the next one. So here is the second one, which is b. So again, what would the equation be? 5 less than a number is 7. Now keep in mind, as soon as we say is 7, you already know I'm going to have an equal sign equals 7. You just have to figure out, try to recall, how do you write down 5 less than a number? And that's exactly what we did before with algebraic expressions. So hopefully you're not forgetting what that lesson is. Okay, let's go through the answer. So if I go 5 less than a number, here is that part of the expression, x equals 5. Now the new part is equals 7, and that's what we put at the end here. So I have here, x take away 5 equals 7. All right, let's go on and do C. A number subtracted from 5 is 1. So again, what would that equation look like? Let's go through this one. So now we're going to take x, is still going to represent that number. The first part here, a number subtracted from 5. A number subtracted from 5, we're looking at 5 minus x. And I have here equals 1, and that's the end of the equation that I'm going to have. So I'm going to take my 5 minus x and put the equals 1. Again, I'm not solving it, I'm just writing the equation down. Let's go on to the very last one here. So a number divided by 3 is 10. So your last practice, I want you to either mentally figure it out or jot it down on a paper. What would that equation look like? All right, and here is your answer. So again, we have x that's going to represent our number. That's still going to be our variable. Figure the first part out. A number divided by 3, it's going to look like x over 3. And again, that goes off with our lessons that we've been doing before. The new part we're going to be putting down is 10. All we have to put down is the equal sign equals 10. And then now we have the equation. So there you go. There's the lesson. Very, very similar to what we did before. You're taking the algebraic expressions, which you should now know how to do, and all you're doing is adding the equal sign in the answer, and that's what turns these ones into an equation. So please read it carefully, and just make sure you remember, usually when you start seeing the is and a number, that's the part that is the equal sign in the answer, and that's what makes this an equation. So don't get this mixed up from algebraic expressions. These are equations. So good luck on your work today, and we'll see you on your next lesson. Bye.